All right, back on the old BSA. Early Sunday morning out here. Gonna work on getting this gearbox back in. See what we got. All right, real quick, there's some differences here. So on 68 models and up, they have a dipstick, and they moved the plug here. Like this one's got a plug with a standpipe and a drain combination on the 66 I'm working on here. And that's on the right hand half of the crankcase. But yeah, let's get the parts out. All right, first things first, we're gonna make sure we got our pinion gear in there and our cam plate plunger with spring. Gonna lube the bearings up too before I stick those in. Here they are in the box. There's our drain plug with the standpipe. There's the plunger and spring, cam gear. There's transmission. That obviously goes in that hole there, and the gear pinion goes in that hole there. So get those lubed up. All right, real quick here, 32, this O-ring. 68-3168. It's pretty flattened. Google shows me it's a 1/2 inch, but this metric O-ring seems to fit better. I think how they do the metrics, it's kind of rounded up. Be a 12 millimeter, I guess. Yeah, gonna go with the metric one. Just seems to fit better. Real quick comparison: the standard. See the hole in the bottom. Standard 1/2 inch is on the right side, and the left-hand side is the metric. And 12 and 1/2 inch are, right up there next to each other. All right, put a little gear lube on the O-ring, help it seat. Let's get it installed here. I did run it down to see how it fit down in that groove, and that seems to fit down in that groove a lot better. And I think that 1/2 inch would have just seemed to slide it. Seats in there better, I should say. All right, got our standpipe drain plug combo installed there. Let's move on to getting this plunger in. Lube the plunger up, get it in, and the needle bearing and the upper bearing there. All right, plunger and spring lubed up. Let's put her in. All right, that's in. Get some oil in that needle bearing. All right, looking at everything over here. One thing I really need to go down the stairs and get will be 41. That's a felt washer. Other than that, yeah, pretty straightforward. Stick it in the hole. Position the cam plate midway to the slot. Insert the end selector quadrant in the small hole. Cover at the same time, engaging the quadrant plunger in the cam plate. That's later, but yeah, here we go. Yeah, it says for the meshing of the gears, revolve the shafts gently, secure the cover with the nuts and washers. Yep, so the cover is at home. No torque. Sounds like you just get them tightened up. German torque, right? Just kidding. I did put a little bit of gear lube on the shafts here. I believe there's a little LPS2 that I sprayed this with before I do it in the box, just as a corrosion preventative. So there's definitely some oil already on the gears. That gold stuff is LPS2. So you can see here, these cutouts here on the top and bottom for your cam plate, kind of want to get those lined up. Also, there's no gasket on this. If you look in the book here, there's nothing there for a gasket. Nothing there. Nothing there. Nothing there. When you see gaskets, there's like one right there for the trap door. They're clearly in the book. Like here, your timing side cover there. There's the gasket for that. All right, enough yakking, right? Let's get it in. I do remember the video with the Thunderbolt. Somebody mentioned wanting to see the transmission going out, how much I can really show, but I'll, yeah, gonna stick it in, see what you can see, I guess. The other one I did went right in. Pin here goes in the hole back there. Could possibly be holding it up. Oh, what's to pop out? Let's see what's going on here. I'm assuming that's a plunger spring there. I'll go with that. So yeah, I got one stud that came out. Get a couple nuts on it, see how it shifts. Pretty much watched my whole back there while I was doing that, so I don't know how much help that's gonna be. Hey, I tried. You get to see my back while I sit there and play with the gears. All right, got them snugged up except for one. As you can see this hole here, you can see in there, you can see the gears. Here's your fill plug too. Now I mentioned no gasket, you fill it from here. So this side sits wet over in here. And you have your timing cover gasket going around. But yeah, snug those up. Got some red Loctite on the one that came out the stud, so I'm gonna put that in right now. All right, those are all tightened down. Got Loctite on them. It's gonna work the gears through. Everything seems happy. All right, so out here looking around, checking out that sprocket. taking a look at the old one here on the back. It's not, it's actually not bad. I don't think it is compared to, not that the front one's very bad either, but let's face it, as far as we've gone here, take a look at the chain too. I think it's, be ordering a chain and sprocket tonight. Sprockets, I should say. Maybe it'll show up in the video. It's got just ever so slight bit of wear, but let's face it, as far as I got this thing apart, I think I'm gonna move on to checking out these clutch rubbers. Like this chain wheel seems to be really good shape. I'm gonna take a look at the sprocket on the alternator here and the that triplex chain or whatever they call it, triple chain. Yeah, but yeah, I'm thinking the final drive chain and sprocket, get those on order tonight. Noticing a little gap there where that thrust washer goes, the back side here. All right, gonna get that popped out of there. All right, let's tap that down through here. Out she went. Oh, there is about 20 bearings that should be there. Show you what we got. Here's our rust washer. And there's the rollers. We do have new parts here. The rust washer. 20 new rollers. Going to disassemble this here and get the old rubbers exposed. All right, working at getting these small screws out. Kind of give them a little tap. The apex bit in there already. It's using a 7mm straight slot. Would have been nice to use hex heads back then, huh? Not the greatest bite with these common screws. Got that one loose. We'll get this other one. Hammer gives a little shock. That one came off a lot easier. That one I thought was gonna strip on me. All right. These are the screws I'm talking about here, getting those out to get to these clutch rubbers. Now I've worked this along here, the brass drift. You can see the exposed rubber. See how the screw holes aren't lining up anymore. And this is a pocket where your springs would go in, your clutch springs. I'm gonna take this punch here. I'm gonna come back up through the screw hole here. And there's a spot right, give it a whack. And it's working my way around. Oh. that way. Just about got it. That sure is. All right. There's the old rubbers. Gonna work on getting those out. Get this piece out here too. We'll take this piece out, get all this cleaned up. It's just came right out of there. Yeah, definitely get this cleaned up. You know, parts washer. See how some of these are, you know, falling apart here. Some seem to be okay. You know, not new, obviously, but you can see remnants in here of the ones that are starting to break down and fall apart. All right, so new parts arrived. Got new sprockets. Front and rear, changed the beer today. Got our clutch rubbers. I noticed, you can see in there, appears to be some kind of maybe part of the casting, like a goober in there. None of the other ones have that. It's definitely not coming out with a pick. It would take, it's kind of hard to see. It'd take a grinder for sure, a pencil grinder or something. But yeah, I noticed this one is chewed up. Maybe the one that was riding there. This would be the thicker one, sitting in that hole. If you see where the screw holes are for the cover, the thicker ones are opposite of that. That's that one there. Anyhow, I'm gonna see how these fit in there, and I may clean that up with the Dremel tool. All right, gave her a little cleanup there. I don't know how much it would really affected anything. The other one's got minor stuff. I kind of cleaned some of them up that had, you know, a little bit of stuff, but that one had like a blob in there. Probably been there since new, I'd imagine, you know, just a casting flaw. Let's get these rubbers in. All right, got those in place there. This one have more of a curve to the one side and more flat on the other side. Where those blades will ride, should be the flat part. It shows, you know, where the thin rubber and the thick rubber goes. The thin one goes next to the screw. I think I mentioned that earlier, to the cover. All right, stick the piece in there. Put a little bit of grease on the mating surfaces there. These areas right here. Well, unfortunate circumstance. I've done that before, not broke it, but I've went off of there pulling those two together, and yeah, that thing broke. So, yep, that took the wind out of my sail this morning. A complete one's about close to 200 bucks or more, or just this piece is 40 bucks. So I ordered just this piece, and I'm gonna grab the channel locks and try a different angle of manipulating these rubbers. Just I guess practice run for when the new one comes in so I don't break it. All right, so I'm just pre-fitting these in here. So when the new piece shows up, they're kind of, you know, in a good state of going into the new piece. And I went and got a bag of soap. Didn't do that last time I did this. I'll use the soap, see what happens. Maybe that's what I should have did in the first place, huh? Find out here shortly. Yeah, I don't remember this being that difficult putting these in on the last bike I worked on, that Thunderbolt. But yeah, I could see in the comments on people that sell the whole thing assembled, comments, I just buy this, I ain't messing with them rubbers no more. I can see it. Yep, these ones are stubborn. I don't know if it's the rubbers a little bit bigger than they should be or what, but it's slowly getting there. Well, this is taking entirely longer than it should. I got one left, And yeah, even getting them to sit happy in there for when that cover goes down. Yeah, just really mushrooming out, they are. All right, try to get this last one in here. It's definitely been a battle. Obviously, the old smashed one slides right in. Yeah, definitely a battle. So yeah, the last one's going to be probably the most difficult one. Making me think I need to hit the easy button, and even though I ordered a new one of these, maybe order a whole assembly and just be over it. Yeah, see how this goes. Might be doing that. All right, so I got that thing started, and it's been me going at it with these 2 screwdrivers, working it slowly down in there. I don't know what these things will come out, what shape they'll be in when they come out of here. I'm going to use a little LPS one on this to help it along. But yeah, definitely probably hitting the easy button and getting the other part coming. Because I don't know. I think these things are, the other ones went in fairly easy, so maybe they were too small. And these ones are just the right size, and that's just how they are, a battle. Or it's these, you know, some guys talk about those parts you get from overseas, and they're a little difficult sometimes, maybe. Yeah, man, that thing just doesn't want to go down any further. I'm going to play it a little more after lunch. I need a break. Thankfully, the chain came in today. I think I'll be able to get something done, like sprockets on and chain. I take the back wheel off, obviously, still, but yeah, I've done dirt bike rubbers before and clutches. This is dumb. I don't know why they're so hard. I think they're the wrong size or something. Anybody else get frustrated when they break stuff? Yeah, still a little pissed about breaking that thing. Little macaroni and peeps from the street, bodega up the street, party store. Anyhow, yeah, called them guys back to see if they could send me the rubbers with the new rubbers with the clutch center here. They didn't answer, left a voicemail. We'll see how it goes. I got a Jeep trip coming up, so probably not gonna drop a couple bills on one of these. Yeah, trying to make do with what I got. Is that piece coming? Maybe reuse the rubbers I just stuck in there now. I don't know what they're gonna look like when I take them out of there. Took quite a bit to get them in there. So yeah, hopefully I'll hear back from them today, and I'll have them send me new rubbers just in case. Yeah, got the center out of the stand there. I'm gonna get the wheel popped off here after I eat lunch. Taking the back wheel off, it's not much to it. Chain guard is annoying on these. I don't even think there's one on the Thunderbolt I ride. It's not in here at the moment. It's another building, but yeah. They're definitely, you gotta finagle them things around, it seems like. Well, got different size head bolts on this sprocket. Not sure what's up with that. I'll look in the book. I thought they're all the same size bolts. All right, kind of a parts thing I'm gonna, you know, kind of bitch about, I guess. Another complaint. 47 tooth, says right on there. Now I look at this other sprocket. They labeled it inside there. Of course, that's the part. Once the wheel's on, or once the sprocket's on, you know, you're not going to see it. I mean, you can count the thing, but I mean, it's kind of nice. These old ones, you know. Yeah, I don't know about the parts deal with some of these bikes. Glad I found it. Didn't notice it before. I don't think sprocket had anything to do with it. The hardware is wrong, as you can see. That washer interferes with the part of the drum brake here. And depending on how those were tightened, obviously if there was a corner, you know, going straight across here, it would hit. So I tightened them to where they'd line up, but then the washer deal, you can see how much smaller the other ones are. The other bolts are smaller. See, there's a big one, small one. So yeah, it's kind of one of them days of more steps going back than forward, I guess. You have those days. That's where we're at this weekend. So, gonna research some parts and get some stuff on order. I got the old bolts all bagged and tagged. Looked them up. Looks like they are 5/16 diameter, 9/16 long, 24 pitch. So yeah. So we'll head to the hardware store, and maybe it'll grow on me. We'll see. Here we go. They're cap screws, so I can pull them out. I think I do remember seeing chrome and maybe stainless ones, not at the same store. Maybe possibly have to go back double check, but this is a quick and easy for right now. Get the wheel on, they're cap screws. I can pull them out versus the bolts, the large size bolts. You know, we couldn't get those out with the drum on. Well, just keep kicking our butts today, don't we? All 10 of them washers are off for a reason. So you've probably seen how proud those bolts were. Now they're more in line with the drum plate there. If you look down in there, focus, see the bolts going past the brake stay there. Right there, just went past. See that? Had clearance issues there. Go figure, right? That's the way today's going. You can see the difference there. From the original bolt, which I'm missing half of. But yeah, I got Loctite on those. Shouldn't go anywhere. May revisit that. Right now it's on and it's together. Kind of curious what the Thunderbolt's got. I think it had Allen bolts just like this. I can't remember. Trying to get this goo off this new sprocket here. It had a bunch more than that. It's a little harder to get to. You kind of see the spots there. It's where that seal rides. I think maybe toothbrush, maybe. All right, I got a little lube on that sprocket. On this part right here, that is, where it hits the seal. There's a seal here. All right, took a little bit to get the sprocket on. Got that on. Gonna throw that lock washer on there. All right, this is one of those at your own risk. I would call it. You know what I mean? Of course they drop something. As they say when they're tying something down to a trailer, right? That ain't going nowhere. Actually, I think that the old bend mark lined right up. Zoom in on that here. All right, lock tab's been over there, or lock washer, I guess. Felt washer's on. Let's feed the chain through. All right, try to film this best I can here. Feeding this chain through. Got it started on the back sprocket. And almost made a big mistake there. Go figure, right? Chain guard in the way. I think that's why it's missing off my Thunderbolt. Yeah. Yep. Make sure you get it over the lug on the back, the mounting lug. This may be a lot of not for children words. Dirt bikes, they just seem to go right on the chains. These here, you're playing a game with these things, let me tell you. Maybe this chain guard is just always in the way. I'm getting there. Slowly but surely. Gotta keep feeding it. Okay. Here we go. Stay on there. Grab my booger hook. Back here now. Yep. Lost it. What's going on? Oh, this thing binding up. Huh. These chains on this thing are not friendly to feed for some reason. Is that bound up in there somehow? I think I did. Huh. Great. Pliers. There we go. So what I wanted to do was, there we go, feed it like that. Oh shoot. What's going on back here now? Nope, wrong way. All right, and grab it from the bottom, I think. Okay, we're moving now. Just got to make sure it's fed right. This chain guard is enough driving me nuts. All right, got chain on. Moved the back wheel forward a little bit. Undid these adjusters here. Got the master link in here. This should be the direction it's going. Should be going. You know, the open end, your sprocket's up here. You know, the wheel's going this way with your open end facing aft, rear. Closed end facing forward. As you know, goes around that way. That's probably not too bad, actually. Once I sit on it, it'll tighten up. So, yeah, I think I'm going to lock it in right there. Lock her in right there. It's a good guesstimation. All the things that kind of gone wrong this morning, I'll go with that. That's a good one. I'll take it. side's tight. Of course, you're looking at my back. My bad. All right, kind of winding up here, getting ready to get a few more things done before dinner here. That's the part number for the felt seal. It's a 68-3194. And your trap door here, here's that seal. That one's pretty clear to see there. Let's get that swapped out. That was pretty much as simple as this socket, that extension, that hammer, that seal. Trying to kind of move things along here. We're heading to eat. Yep, let's go get that thrown in. All right, got the trap door on there. I did grease that seal. I was putting it on. I'm looking at that thing there. I fed those through. Fed those wires through that conduit tube there. Probably gonna see about ordering one of them seals. Got a few things to mess with for the week here. This dip switch. Still waiting on a clutch part I ordered Friday. Also got a bolt that I found. Oh, it's gonna be hard to show this. Anyhow, it's up with that chain guard. It's pushing the fender. I don't know if you'll be able to see that or not. Here's the culprit anyhow. Sure, it's been like that for years. Don't like it. Could make a trip to the hardware store. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Got to get that installed. I'm thinking I'll do some oil lines too, along with that dip switch, that chain guard bolt. Got a few things to keep me busy through the week till the clutch parts show up. Anyhow, that's it for this weekend. Guess have a good week or weekend, and take her easy. Later.